Could anything possibly be more counterintuitive than this? With your Influence and Success Insight, I'm Bob Burg. Genuine influence principle number 5 is to let go of having to be right. Now, what exactly is meant by this? This series is about influence, which involves moving a person to your side of an issue. And now you're hearing let go of having to be right. When I speak about this principle at live conferences, people's faces immediately become more expressive. Invariably, afterwards, many will tell me it's something they've always had trouble doing. Welcome to the club. Who doesn't? I think it's a fairly common element of human nature that touches all of us. At least it does me. And while I've improved a lot in this regard, it's something I have to continually work on. So let's look at this. First, let me clarify that when we say let go of having to be right, that doesn't mean you don't want to be right. Of course you do. And it doesn't mean you won't prepare as best you can to be right. Sure you will. It simply means that you're going to let go of your emotional attachment to having to be right, or to having to be 100% right, or to have to always be right. The paradox here is that to the degree you're able to do this, that's the degree to which you actually become far more influential and more persuasive. You see, when you let go of that attachment to having to be right, two things happen. Number one is that you allow yourself to go into learner's mode. In other words, rather than being stuck with the knowledge limited by your current beliefs, you're able to open your mind and expand your knowledge, learn more, know more, equip yourself better. This is in sharp contrast to the person who always has to be right, whether they're right or not. Sometimes even when they know they're not right, they still have to be right. They won't admit to not being right to others or even to themselves. In other words, their basic philosophy is, my mind's made up. Don't confuse me with the facts. Do you know people like that? Perhaps you've worked for a boss like that, or had a friend like that, or dare I say, noticed someone on social media like that. Nah. Let me ask you, did you have more respect or less respect for that person based on the fact that they simply could not admit to being wrong? Even if it was your boss and you had to comply because of their title, were they genuinely influential in your mind and heart? Or was it simply that you had to put up with them based on their position? I'm betting it was the latter. On the other hand, don't you have a ton of respect for and a greater amount of trust in that person who can admit to being wrong, to having made a mistake, and who takes responsibility for that and even says, you were right, I was wrong? So the first benefit of letting go of having to be right is that it enables you to learn more, which actually equips you to be right more often than the person who doesn't do this. Number two, though, once this person you're dealing with comes to understand and realize that you're not just looking to be right at all costs, and certainly that you're not just looking to be right at their expense by making them wrong, they'll be much less defensive, much more open to you and to your thoughts, suggestions, and ideas. They'll be much more likely to allow themselves to be influenced by you. So by letting go of having to be right, you'll actually be right far more often and be far more influential than you otherwise would be. With your Influence and Success Insight, I'm Bob Burg. Make it a great day.